Shabbat Shalom. When I was applying to be a pulpit rabbi 10 years ago, it was this parsha, Mishpatim. And I had my little Dvar Torah ready to go to all my meetings. And this is what I said. Finally, we come to all the laws of our tradition. We've had stories for all the beginning of the Torah. And last week we had the thunder and the lightning and Mount Sinai. And now we come to all those little laws that inform who we are as a people, to show compassion and kindness, to strive for justice so needed in our world. Because we need laws to live by all the myriads of ways that the world brings our ways, the challenging situations that come up, and we need to know how to act morally and ethically and spiritually. And the Torah is very clear-headed about human beings and how human beings are in this world, and knows we get into trouble sometimes and we need some guidance to know how to act. And so the Torah, the portion has tort laws, ownership and property, criminal, all kinds of things. And these laws become the foundation for who we are as a Jewish people, all of our pathways and laws and customs. And they've informed how Jews have lived for so long, and they become the intricacies of Jewish law. And all the way up to, there ends up being laws that tell you which shoelace to tie first in the morning, right? Which is your right, by the way. And then there's this one passage that concludes the whole portion today with, a passage that's not very well known or often talked about, where finally the people have received their first download of laws, and Moses says, "You really want to do this?" And they say, "Yes." And then Moses throws some ritual blood, a little here, a little there, and the words become the covenant. And then they seal the bond the way most of us seal some agreement, and the way I imagine lawyers in downtown Chicago do. They go to a bar or a restaurant and they have a meal and a drink, right? And so this is what they do. They go up, they behold God, and they have a meal and a drink. And then they see God. And the Torah says they see a throne, they don't actually see God. And underneath there is a pavement of bricks, of sapphire, in the likeness of heaven. And so why a pavement of bricks? Well, some of the rabbis say, well, they spent a lot of time building bricks. And it was to say God sees everything you've built, and you think it's all for nothing, but you've actually been building something beautiful and powerful. Others say there was the color. And so sapphire sounds the same as sapphire. It's where sapphire comes from sapphire, from this Hebrew word, maybe a different origin originally. It's disputed what exactly it was. But the Talmud says, what was the color of sapphire? The color of the blue of the techelet in our tzitzit. And then the Talmud continues, this is the color of the sky, the color of the sea, the color of the throne of glory, the color of that pavement of sapphire. And as mentioned, the tzitzit, right, we say kanaf batil dechelet, that there should be one thread of blue every time we took the tzitzit. And you guys will be doing this soon when you have your tzitzit, your bar bat mitzvah. When you come to that third paragraph, you kiss your tzitzit 3 times. And so what are the tzitzit about? The tzitzit remind us of the commandments. A lot of our talitot don't have the blue, but we'll get to that. And why is it there? To remind us not to go astray. God took us out of Egypt for a reason, and we look at the tzitzit, we kiss them, and they remind us of all of these laws that form our people. So why the blue? Well, the Talmud says, well, the blue, because it's the sea, because it's the sky, this brilliant, beautiful blue, which in those days was harder to come by color. And it's to remember that all these laws are there to evoke some of that experience of the sky, of the sea, that sense of expansiveness, and that peacefulness, the peacefulness of Shabbat. And that's what we're doing with all of these commandments. We're trying to bring that peace into our lives and into our world. And what's so interesting is that we actually lost Techelet for 2,000 years. right? For 2,000 years, because it came from a snail outside of the land, outside of the Mediterranean coast, and we no longer spent much time there. And we didn't know how to harvest the color. We didn't know how to find it. And so for 2,000 years, we lost the techelet. We lost the peace and the expansiveness. And we only had the commandments. They kept our people as intact as we could be, able to withstand the pressures of annihilation, of disappearing. But we've refound the techelet in the last 75 years. In this new period of Jewish history, we have the blue, and we can remember the purpose of all of it. Of course, because we're Jews, and 2 Jews, a million opinions, there are different ideas of what exactly the blue looks like. Is it more purple? Is it more blue? Is it this way? Is it that way? What exactly is it supposed to look like? But whatever it is, whatever we look at, it's supposed to evoke in us something special. And that's our generation's mission at this point in Judaism. Because young people don't want to just continue Judaism because we tell them to do it. They want to know the why before the how, just like this class certainly does. Always asking the questions of why do we do it? Where is it coming from? It has to take us somewhere. It has to move us, which is what the techelet is about. So I was talking to, 2 weeks ago, I was talking to a new member of our synagogue, and we're talking about religious journeys. And somehow it got to my own father's religious journey. And I spoke about how my father, when he was a young rabbi, went around Jerusalem and New York and asked all the teachers of the time the question that was burning his mind, just like you all have amazing questions. And his question is, well, how do you make this actually, we talk a lot about it, but how does it feel real? How does it feel alive? How does it transform your life? And the member I was talking to, a new member, said, well, was it about joie de vivre? Joie de vivre. At first I was going to say, well, it's not really about joie de vivre. But then I thought about it and I said, well, there is something about joie as joy, in it. We need to have joy in our practice of Judaism. It needs to be joyful. There needs to be joie de vivre and also a greater joy, a joy that transcends even the kind of joy that we find just by all the things that usually give us joie de vivre. And so, of course, the techelet without the commandments is nothing. We need the form and the customs to hold the techelet, to tell us how to live. A body needs a soul, and the soul needs a body. But it's so easy for most of us to get into concrete, and it's the techelet that gets lost. And so what's the techelet? The techelet is the meaning and purpose. All those questions you guys ask. Why keep kosher? Why do this? Why do that? Why follow this ancient, strange way of living in the world in our modern way of life? And techelet is that spirit of prayer when suddenly we feel we're all singing together. And techelet is those songs and blessings, the feeling of being at a Friday night with your family that binds us all together. And this is our challenge and our opportunity as a religion to bring that experience of the pavement of sapphire into our lives. And so I bless all of you on your road to your bar and bat mitzvah to keep looking and asking those questions and to find that peace and to find that blessing in your Jewish identity and faith wherever you take it. Shabbat Shalom.